Welcome to the Indy Mile for round 7 of AMA Pro Flat Track. Riders are going to have to battle an ever-changing track with long straights, tight corners, and it's going to be a night of awesome racing. Bryan Smith, Mr. Mile, has won every single mile so far this season, but will he win here tonight? In 2013, Bryan Smith came out on top. In 2014, Kenny Coolbeth Jr. ran away with the win. Brad Baker has been on fire but suffered a mechanical at the DuQuoin Mile. Will the track tonight fit his riding style? The best in flat track starts now.
Welcome to the pre-show. It's AMA Pro Grand National Flat Track Racing. We make our return back to the world-famous Indy Mile. I'm Scotty Dubler. I'm joined alongside 7-time Grand National Champion, 4-time winner here at the Indy Mile, Chris Carr. Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing real good, Scotty. It's great to be at the Indy Mile. It's one of my favorite tracks. Real technical mile, and should be some great action tonight.
We're a little bit behind the 8 ball right now. Mother Nature put a lot of moisture down. We got on the track a little bit late, but we're playing catch up right now. All the qualifying is in the books. Now the teams are back there getting their bikes ready for tonight's racing. What's it going to take to pull off a victory?
Well, I think it's going to take flexibility on the part of the riders and the teams. You know, this track conditions are going to change significantly over the course of the evening. As we saw last year, we saw Kenny Coolbeth hit his set up perfect for the main event, and he proceeded to march away with a very convincing win here. So these guys know they're going to have to be on their toes, not only as riders, but the teams as well, in making the adjustments on either of their parts in order to go to the front.
This is pre-show right now. The open paddock area is going on until 6 o'clock. Opening ceremony is here tonight at 6:30, so the teams have a little bit of time. The track crews out there actually adding some more moisture to the racetrack, which is going to make the track really fast. I'm not sure if it's going to be as fast as last week because that was one hell of a race.
It certainly was a great race at DuQuoin. You know, we had 5 guys early on going at it. It kind of whittled down to 4. We saw the factory Harley of Brad Baker have a few issues, but what a finish. Photo finish, 3 riders across the stripe within about 4 inches of each other. You can't ask for a tighter form of racing. Hopefully we'll get the same tonight.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened last week at the DuQuoin Mile.
The DuQuoin Magic Mile lived up to its name. GNC2 class, young riders racing like veterans on the mile. Classic mile duo comes down to Tristan Avery and the 67M of Davis Fisher, our current point leader. In the end, storybook day for Tristan Avery as he pulls off the win.
I went in turn 1, about 4 laps to go, and just about kind of sending a little bit too hard, and ended up, I think almost my knee was going to the ground, and ended up saving it. Came back and catching them in about 2 laps, sent it to the checkered, and we came away with number 1, so couldn't be happier.
From fighting for his life a year ago to the top of the box today, life doesn't get any sweeter for this young man. GNC1 class. Started off with your typical mile fashion with 6 guys going at it. Usual suspects find their way to the front, running 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide off into turn 1. Five laps to go, Baker's engine expires on the factory Harley-Davidson. Down to 3, with a lap to go, it's Smeeds, Coolbeth, Smith, in that order. As they come off of turn 4, it looks like Mees has control. Bryan Smith pulls the rabbit out of the hat, coming from 3rd to 1st, and wins in the second closest Grand National finish in history, .0002.
there's very few places you go to where you can just hammer down for lap after lap after lap, and it's just fun when you can ride that hard with your buddies and clean. It's like backyard riding, but it's just so cool, so intense. It's something that you can't explain, pay for, buy, sell. It's just unbelievable, man.
One hell of a race last weekend at the DuQuoin Mile. The main event was settled by .0002 seconds in the photo finish to determine the winner of the GNC1 class. Congratulations to Bryan Smith. But joining us in the booth, picking up his first GNC2 win last week was this man, Tristan Avery. Tristan, welcome to the booth here in the pre-show. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Kind of nervous for tonight and worried. We're kind of struggling to set up a little bit, and I feel like we're going to have a strong horse up under us, and we're going to have good people behind us, so I feel like this race is going to go good.
What's the difference between DuQuoin and the Indy Mile? Why are you nervous?
DuQuoin was a bit of a more banked track, and you're able to keep your momentum a whole lot more than what you are here. And I don't know, this is the first time I've been here, so it's kind of a little bit different. But DuQuoin, I've raced there before, and now it's just a new learning experience.
Well, Tristan, thinking back over how your life has been different the last year. We know that a year ago, I mean, I visited you in the hospital. I know you don't remember it, but you had the unfortunate accident at the Amateur Nationals while you were in contention to win the Horizon Award. You fought for your life. How does it feel at your age to be where you are today, a winner of the DuQuoin Mile in the GNC2 class? I mean, it's quite a story to see what could have been and what is true today. How's that make you feel?
I think I feel more confident than ever. With more of a decision now, it's more of an okay, let's do it. And back then it was, I was little and didn't really know what I was doing and just wanted to race. And I was just basically a little guy with a big dream. And my dream necessarily didn't come true, but it's just an Horizon Award, and it's just gonna sit there and collect dust all winter. So what's the big deal about it? And after realizing what went on about it and how I felt afterwards, it was definitely breathtaking at first. Being able to go through all the pain and the recovery and everything was definitely life-changing. And not only that, but I realized that I got more than just the Horizon Award. I was able to continue life the way I was, and not only that, but come back stronger. So that was definitely good, and I'm pumped for tonight and pumped to race.
Tristan, has your first pro win on the Grand National circuit, has that set in yet?
This middle of this week it kind of set in a little bit, but before it was just, wow, I won my first national, and it's a dream come true. It really is, and I'm proud to say that without my family and my brother and everyone who was there in the hospital. Chris came in there to see me. A lot of people came to see me, and all the donations and everything for me were really amazing. I was definitely gifted to be able to come back from such a crazy injury, and now we're back winning national last weekend.
Well, it's a great story. We welcome you back as a professional. I welcome you to professional racing, but we welcome you back to the flat track family, because you had us nervous there a year ago, and to see how far you've come in that time is an inspiration to a lot of people, and we want you to know that we're glad you're here.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
That was the 16S Tristan Avery. He's got second row starting his heat race here tonight, but he won last weekend, so keep your eyes on 16S Tristan Avery. The winner here last year at the Indy Mile was none other than Jared Vanderkoy, the 17F. Let's check out a piece on Jared.
Jared Brenner here, 17 years old, GNC1 rookie. We're from Mount Gilead, Ohio. We're riding for the Don's Kawasaki, DPC, Woody Kyle Racing Kawasaki's. Definitely, it's really cool to be a part of the Saddlemen's Heats Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, Kyle had to get off there, and I took over the lead, but we have a pretty lengthy lead right now, about 10 points, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, it's really cool with Saddlemen putting up the money and going for this award. The ultimate goal is to get the championship, but this year's the Rookie of the Year. We're going to finish up there, and hopefully we'll break the top 10 by the end of the year. We're sitting 17th in points right now. Struggled a little bit here and there, but definitely championship. That's what we're going for.
All right, thanks you guys. I am down here with Jared Vanderkoy, the current GNC1 Rookie of the Year leader right now. Jared, you won here last year. I was not here to witness it in the GNC2 class. You've now moved up in the ranks. What are you expecting today?
We're expecting to get off a good start in our heat race. We qualified pretty decent. We're on the front row, so we're looking for a good start and get up there in the top 2, make the dash, and get a front row for the main. That's a big part. Get off the line and see what we can do.
Now, you're saying you enjoy this track, so do you want to fill us in why?
Yeah, I really like this track. You know, it's pretty technical today. Actually, got a couple holes out there, and it's a deep cushion, kind of like what we like at home back in Ohio. So it's really deep up top, and it's really tricky because when you get out on the bottom, it's real hard. So it's real technical what you got to do out there. So we're looking forward to it.
So sum it up. How different is the GNC1 class from the GNC2 class?
You can go out there in GNC2 and, you know, you qualify good and you qualify bad, you know. But once race time comes, you know who's going to be out the front. GNC1, everybody comes from the get-go. They already got their stuff set up when they got here. And it's just a big step, you know, to do for me. And it's really good. Don's Kawasaki stepped up with me this year, and I'm really enjoying it.
Well, good luck today. And you guys, we have a video from Bryan Smith's mechanic, Ricky Howerton's race shop. So stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ricky Howerton. I am part owners in the Crosley, Howerton, Esparza 42 team. We've been around since 2012. The team consists of Bo Lamastis of Crosley, Joe Esparza, myself, Jeff Gordon, Ron Glidden, and Bryan Smith as a rider. Being that this is our 5th year in the race series, we've put a tremendous amount of effort in this team to try to get it to the point that it is now. We basically all have day jobs. We do this at night, so we're working 12, 15, 18-hour days. It's been a big strain, I think, on everyone personally, but it's definitely been probably, and I can speak for everyone on the team, probably some of the funnest years that we've ever had. Overall, our decision with Kawasaki has been a great one, as it's shown great reliability, and with Kawasaki stepping in the sanction this year, it's been a great decision.
You know, Ricky's the driving force behind me riding and the rest of the team doing the hard work, really. I mean, he's the guy that keeps the wheels turning whether we like it or not. Whether it's me winning and he's picking apart my riding to go faster the next week, which I like, or leaning on the crew to get the work done and make sure we got the best equipment at the track, and it shows. I mean, sometimes I think we all joke that he's a slave driver, but it's helped the results, and that's the way it should be for sure.
We're committed to get Bryan that #1 plate, and whatever it takes effort-wise and resources is what we're going to do.
Welcome back to the pre-show here at the Indy Mile. That was a great piece on Ricky Howerton, the Crosley Brands Kawasaki team. Man, they won 3 miles in a row. They're going for 4. Ricky Howerton's joined us in the booth. Ricky, how are you feeling tonight?
Good, thanks for having me.
You bet. So what's your chances tonight? You feeling pretty confident? Bryan's won here twice, and he's looking for 3 wins here at Indy and his 4th consecutive mile win on the Grand National Circuit in 2015.
Yeah, Bryan's pretty sneaky about going out and practice and going by himself, and sort of trying to figure out the track instead of getting in a pack of guys and drafting and maybe getting a good qualifying time. So I think the track here tonight's going to change a lot, so I think don't really know until the feature comes.
Well, Ricky, the Howerton Motorsports team has kind of burst onto the scene. You first really formed in 2012, but your story goes back a lot further than that, and that's part of the reason why we have you in here tonight. Tell us a little bit about your first influences in the sport of flat track.
Yeah, if you rewind back to 1983, when my dad had a fabrication shop on Gasoline Alley just south of the 500 track, the Honda flat track team came in, and they had Bubba Shelbert and Ricky Graham riding for them. And so my dad started doing work for those guys, building oil tanks and other things. And So I was 13, and I used to ride my BMX bike from the house and ride down to their shop and just started hanging out with Skip and Sparky. And when Ricky and Bubba were in town, they were nice enough to they would come and let me go play golf with them. And pretty soon I was going to the races with Bubba in his RV. And it was just, I mean, when you're little, everything just seems so much bigger, and those guys were just bigger than life.
I can imagine as a kid, that's why you're here in a lot of ways. And you were away from it. You went and pursued other stuff, but you got together with Skip again, in 2010, 11, with a chassis, the first generation Howerton chassis?
Yeah, 2010, I was actually, I wanted to build a street tracker, as I always liked, flat tracking. So I was going to build a street tracker. I was kind of looking for an engine platform. The Kawasaki Vertical Twin was a cool little small package. And so I called Skip and asked him, I said, hey, if I build a street tracker, will you build the engine for me? And he kind of laughed, which is fairly rare for him. And he said, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about building one of those for a Grand National race team. And so my dad convinced me to build two chassis at the same time. I built two. Skip took the second one, and he went racing in 2011 with Luke Goff. And they had, Luke wasn't the caliber of rider that a Bryan Smith is, but he showed signs of that bike and that engine package really having some strength. Sacramento, he won the heat race in a big way. They finished, I think, 4th at Calistoga. And so I think that was, kind of the resurgence of that Kawasaki since Bill Warner had it.
You've actually also picked up a win at Hagerstown, the first win in a Grand National on a Kawasaki. Just part of the history. So far, you've won 3 miles with Springfield, Sacramento, and last week in DuQuoin. I know Indy's very important to you. How would this rank if you guys won here tonight, since it's in your hometown?
Well, this is probably for us the biggest race of the year. Sacramento is really cool, but back on our history of my family at this place, my dad in 1974 stood on the concrete stage out there and beat two guys, Mario Andretti and Al Unser in the Hoosier 100. And so for me to stand on that stage, however long it was, in 2013, it was really weird. it was cool. When after the event was over, I got back home and I pulled out some of the pictures of me and my two brothers standing on the stage, when my dad had the checkered flag wreath around him. It was really, really neat.
Well, your story is one that I've been wanting to tell for a long time, and we appreciate you coming in and sharing the backstory that not a whole lot of people in the flat track community know about. Now that you've been in here for a while, what is Howerton Motorsports outside of building the bikes for Bryan Smith?
Well, are you referring to the people involved in the Howerton Motorsports?
The whole bit. Tell us your whole story, Ricky.
Yeah, that's a long one. It depends where you want to start and how much time you got. Yeah, I don't know. As far as what the team is, you've got basically when that deal kind of came to, you had Jeff Gordon met Bryan Smith up in a bar in Flint, and they were ice racing, and Jeff went up with Dan Ingram. I was building that motorcycle. I built the street bike. Bryan actually competed against my other bike that Skip had at the time. And Bryan and Jeff were talking at that bar, and Jeff had never met him. And Bryan said, hey, when I come down for the dealer show in about 3 weeks, I'd love to come and see your guys' shop. Now, Jeff works over at Speedway Engines next door, and they built Cosworth IndyCar engines and have had just a great success there. And so Bryan came down and came to our shop, came in the door, and I think he looked at the motorcycle, and he could see that there was a lot of passion, there was a lot of resources. He knew that engine was fast because he had competed against it, and so sat on the bike a bunch of times. We went to dinner, and then the question came out, hey, have you ever thought about having a Grand National team, and I was like, no. And so he said, I really think I could win on that motorcycle. And I said, well, there's, financially there's no way, I could do that, but let me make a call. A friend of mine is a huge motorsport fan, raced motocross, was a good motocrosser, was a good road racer, and his business was just, splitting at the seams, and that was Bo at Crosley. So I called Bo, and it was the craziest conversation ever. I've known Bo forever. Call him up, Bo, hey, got this deal, Bryan Smith, he's a really good rider, he wants to ride my motorcycle. And Bo says, cool. He says, I'm all in. And it was that easy. And so the whole story just seems weird. So we ran the 2012 season, didn't even know we won the Twins championship until at the very end of Pomona. They all go on the stage and they said, and Bryan Smith is the new Twins champion. So we're like, wow, we didn't expect that. So the normal type of deal that Bo and I have, we go to Starbucks the next morning with Bryan, drinking our coffee, or we're walking out. So Bo says, hey, what do you think about just doing the whole Grand National schedule next year, And at that time, we were on cloud nine, winning the Twins deal. And so I looked at Bryan and I was like, yeah, why not? And so then, came the winter time, and then it came all the hours and of building spares and making sure you've got mile stuff. And that's where really all the work is. The winter time is where you spend all your time prepping everything, your engine program, your chassis, your spare, your trailer, all that stuff. So once the season came, that was really the easy part.
Well, we're glad to have you. You've been a great addition to the Flat Track family. Welcome and congratulations on all your success, and we wish you continued more.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was Ricky Howerton, the mechanic and builder of the number 42 Crosley brands Kawasaki. Bryan Smith will be piloting here tonight. That is it for our pre-show. We'll see you guys at opening ceremonies coming up at 6:30 here on the East Coast.
Jared Mees, Grand National number 1.
Bryan Smith, National number 42.
Howerton, number 7. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv. I'm Kenny Coolback. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv. Hey, I'm Brenner. National number 44. And watch me live on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Shayna Texter, number 52, and you're watching me live on Fans Choice TV.
I'm Henry Wiles, number 17. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Rob Pearson, number 27, KTM GE Waters Auto Body.
I'm Jeffrey Carver, National number 23. Watch me on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Johnny Lewis. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv.